Hey, what's up? Welcome to Absolute Comics. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and we get together on a pretty nearly weekly basis to talk about your favorite comic books and comic book related news. Just a little late today if you're watching live, I apologize for that, but if you aren't watching live, why aren't you? Come to twitch.tv/comicstorian every Tuesday at about 5 p.m. Eastern. All right. My brain is all over the place today. I'm in a weird spot.
Totally fair.
We're good. But we are going to talk heavily about Night Terrors today as our comic book talk. So since that's going to be the comic book discussion, because I got so much to say and go over with Sal, he's going to hate me. Let's open this up by talking about Diamond Distributors is preparing comic book stores for the UPS strike.
Yes.
I don't want to go any more into this because I want to ask one question. What do they have left that they're distributing?
I was going to ask the exact same question. I was like, well, okay, but who cares?
Yeah, they lost Marvel and DC, and now they lost Image, I think it is.
Yeah.
So, and I think Dark Horse, too.
Yeah.
So, what are they distributing?
Right? It's bad. So, I don't know.
But yeah, there's a UPS strike coming up, which may cause delays in the upcoming weeks for your favorite comic books. That's why I like digital. I never have delays. I go get those for the comic collection. Although I will, Sal, I have started a collection of all the Night Terrors covers.
Oh,
they're all gorgeous covers.
They're great. Yeah.
So, all right, next up, we have the Wolverine costume was revealed. We did a full video on that, but the overall thought is we both love it.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, it's great.
EA has announced a new third-person single-player Black Panther game. Not much is known about the project. It's from the team that made Shadow of Mordor, Halo Infinite, God of War, Call of Duty. The guy who did that, Kevin Stevens, were dedicated to delivering fans a definitive and authentic Black Panther experience.
Okay.
I'm at a point, honestly, where I'm the gamer of our group, and I don't care about superhero games. If it doesn't say Spider-Man Insomniac, they have it or Rocksteady Batman. It's a hit or miss at this point. If it's gonna be,
it's certainly met with skepticism. Like I'm also looking forward to the Wolverine game because it's made by Insomniac.
Insomniac, right? But like the Marvel's Avengers, I thought it was okay, but I mean the fact that it's no longer available to buy would tell you otherwise.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I know, I completely agree. It's tough.
And on top of that, Marvel seems to want to only make like shitty app games instead of making regular games, but then they make games like Marvel Snap. So I'm at a point where you could tell me whatever you want about a new game coming out, and I'm like, and we're gonna see how it looks when it arrives. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how that plays
out. That's fair.
James Gunn confirms that Creature Commandos movie is not taking place back during World War II, but instead during the modern day.
Okay.
Does anyone care about Creature Commandos yet? Because
not for lack of trying. There certainly have been a few, like they did the casting release. They released a picture of the team from it's an animated thing. And as I understand it, it's also in the same universe as the DCU. So sure,
moving forward, all the DCU stuff should be like comics, movies, and video games are all supposed to be interconnected post Superman Legacy.
Right, which is fine.
I get why they're trying to make it so that you're aware that this exists. I get that, but it's Creature Commandos, man.
It's not exactly news. I mean, it's fine, but it's also not like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's a weird decision to go Creature Commandos. Like, and on top of that, we got that new Superman show, which we've talked about, which we're not going to go deep into here. I liked it, Sal didn't. You can watch that review. I'll link it down below. And we have the new Suicide Squad anime coming up, which is like, where does that tie in?
It doesn't.
But on top of that, everyone's been pestering James Gunn as to where the remaining episodes of Doom Patrol are.
Yeah.
To which he said he doesn't know, but they are not shelved.
Right. Okay.
So I saw that one making the rounds. Doom Patrol apparently stopped early. I actually haven't watched this season yet, so I didn't know it was on a hiatus.
No,
and they just haven't announced it coming back.
Listen, anyone's concern should be valid because the fact is, the new MO seems to be, a show didn't do expectations, a movie didn't do expectations, make it disappear forever.
Yep. I get why people are asking about this. I mean, I was telling you the other day, I don't know if you watched it, but Barbarian.
Yeah.
Did you end up watching the movie that's going away?
No, I should have. I think you were the one who told me. Yeah.
I don't know if it's gone yet, but like movies aren't even getting physical releases anymore or digital release. Like it's just gone. Just doesn't exist anymore. So interesting. And the last thing on here on the news portion, Dan did a great job getting these. I'm moving through them at a quicker pace because I want to talk Night Terrors.
Totally.
The R-rated animated Justice League movie, Justice League Warworld, will premiere at San Diego Comic-Con Friday, July 21st in Ballroom 20 with a world premiere evening of 9 p.m. Sal, figure out how we get into that.
I don't. We got an invitation to the Adult Swim stuff, so maybe.
Did we? I have no idea what. Oh, you did.
Yeah,
I just got badges, so you need to hook me up.
I know. I need to check. I didn't see. I did see. I may have seen that. We'll see. But also, folks, we will be premiering at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, look for Benny and myself.
We'll be hanging out there. We got a few other people joining us. I don't know the full roster at the moment because we're trying to finalize some stuff. But yeah.
Exactly. But
all right. Night Terrors.
Night Terrors.
Okay, I want to open this up. Before we go into Night Terrors itself, I noticed something, and I'm making my problem with video about this.
Okay.
And I can't figure out what the title is because it's not really a problem with.
Right, yeah.
When did DC become Marvel? And when did Marvel become DC in terms of events?
Yeah, I don't know, but it probably like the pandemic broke everyone's brains, and that apparently DC and Marvel were not immune. Because
DC used to do tighter knit events. We'd have the occasional big one like death metal and things like that.
Yep.
But it would always be tighter knit events like 1 Minute War, where it's like, okay, it's an event, but it's really just Flash stuff.
Yeah. You know what happened? We lost everybody at the editorial level at DC, and Jim Lee is in charge. That's what happened.
And you know what? I love his first event because it's the first time in a DC event has felt this coherent, connected, important to the overall arch. We're going to talk about all that in a minute. This is just my opinion on it. Since probably the original DC metal.
Right.
Because death metal it was too big for its own good.
And both metal and death metal like sidelined everything to make way for itself. So the only thing you could read was that. But also there were like a gazillion tie-ins for both events. So there was plenty of opportunity to read something that might appeal to you, even though it was connected to something you might not be interested in. Night Terror's doing the same thing. Everything's pushed off the table. Night Terror's for 2 months.
Like the biggest one that surprised me was I looked, Where Is My Joker? The Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 10. It's on hiatus to be the Night Terror Joker book. I was like, even books that literally have nothing to do with what's going on in the Dawn of DC are getting hiatus for this.
Yeah. No, everything is pushed off the table. We're all doing Night Terrors for the next 2 months. And then we'll be back.
But on the flip side, Marvel isn't doing like the last big super interconnected event they did was probably King in Black, wasn't it?
I feel like
where
that's
everyone
true.
towed the line. Huh?
Axe
didn't have everyone toe the line. Axe had specific books toe the line.
Yeah, and I think they knew because they were like, well, I mean, it's Eternals. What are we going to do?
And now we have events happening like X-Men's on its own island, literally on its own island, doing its own thing with the Fall of X. And then we have things like Carnage Reigns that crossed over 3 books, Miles, Red Goblin, and Carnage.
Sure.
And Dark Web was Venom, Miles. It was
its own thing too. Yeah,
they keep doing their own mini events instead of like a line-wide event. And I don't know at this point which I prefer.
Yeah, well, because it really is about the idea and the execution. Is the execution and I would heavily criticize Night Terrors when it was on its way in because of the like one graphic reveal they had where they're like, Night Terrors is starting. Here's 29 books. And it's like, whoa, you can't just tell everybody buy 29 books.
Who's doing that?
That was a terrible idea, but that's just bad marketing. The event, the story, the approach, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm down for the idea. I enjoy the execution thus far. I've only read 3 books from it so far. Today, I believe Night Terrors #1 debuted. I guess I should read that too. Oops.
I mean, if you don't mind spoilers, it's not too many spoilers.
So okay, I read First Blood. I didn't read #1.
Yeah, okay. First Blood was #1. What? I don't know what.
No,
I know what you're saying.
Oh, I know what you mean, but yeah. No, you know what that is? You know what that is? Night Terror's First Blood is just Night Terror's Alpha.
Yeah, but
that's just what Marvel does. Marvel has the Alpha and the Omega
They're doing the Marvel thing. That's what I said. They flipped at some point.
Yeah, I feel like that's Jim Lee being like, well, they're doing it and they're outselling us. Do that.
Okay. I had a lot of criticisms. I thought Night Terrors was going to be dumb.
Yeah,
I made a whole video that they were stopping the momentum of Dawn of DC for Night Terrors.
And
now some people don't like Night Terrors. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people who agree,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying like, "Well, thanks a lot for giving me 2 months off, DC." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, I bet it's not as many of you as they as you think there
No,
are."
it's the loud Twitter group. The Threads people are
Yes.
happy about it.
Threads, they like it over there. That's funny.
Um, but no, and I was in that exact same boat. I literally
Completely.
was like, screw Night Terrors. This is dumb.
Yeah.
First Blood set up a great idea and a great concept. And the big thing that I love about it is this doesn't feel, I want to start with this. It doesn't feel disconnected. The
Yeah.
biggest issue I had with like Lazarus Planet was if you were not reading Batman v Superman, a Batman v
It'd be
Robin,
Robin. Yeah.
it was disconnected. You had no idea what was going on. Like so many people were like, "What is Lazarus Planet?" I'm like, "Well, technically, it's Batman versus Robin 1 through 4, then
Uh,
Lazarus Planet. If you had read that, you'd get it." You know,
yeah.
that's not how
Yeah.
this feels. First
No.
Blood, it like they specifically mention the core plot lines happening in all the books, so you know where this fits.
Yeah.
Like that was my first like, holy shit, someone's actually watching what's going on.
Agreed.
Someone's like, hey, people want to know where this fits in. So let's
Yeah.
tell them.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, like the the checklist they gave, that should go to retailers so retailers could tell the audience like what they can and can't what they can buy and what matters. But just reading the debut of First Blood, you're like, okay, this is the premise, and it's clearly cemented in the Dawn of DC. It's, I mean, it's
Yeah.
shepherded by Joshua Williamson, who is quoted in one of the solicits I read today. It was like one of the architects of DC. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so he knows like where the direction of DC is going, and he's dictating the line in his own way. So like, keep that in mind, you know?
I'm going to throw the three out there now because I'm a little all over the place. I'm going to throw since this is so interconnected to everything,
Yes.
and it started off with the Trinity realizing there's no Justice League and we don't have the Titans in place, and that's how we fell into the trap.
Right.
I feel like this is going to be the thing that triggers the Titans to fully step up while Batman's reassembling a league.
I kind of love that idea. I think that's a great opportunity for them because like right now, the only way that you know about the Titans is because you're reading Nightwing, which
Yeah.
is a great book, but I don't know if everyone's reading it. Titans, I think we're in 2 issues, maybe 3 of Titans, and it doesn't feel, I mean, it is, but like it's also very insulated because it's got its own mystery going on within its own story. Is it the replacement for the League? Does it feel like a big League book? And no, it doesn't. But I don't think they're trying. You know, I think there's 2 different voices, right? There's upper DC that's saying like, make them the replacement for the Justice League. And then there's the folks who are making it who are like, I just want to write a Titans book.
Yeah.
And so you're getting 2 different messages. Like you look at the graphic for Dawn of DC and it's like Titans, boom. And then you're reading Titans and you're like, what happened to Wally?
Yeah, well, they're only in issue 2. They haven't even resolved that issue.
There you go.
That issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you on that. And I feel like because one thing I thought, and I think you and I brought it up, is when they first had the league removed and we were getting the Titans, like it was gonna be like, well, where are they gonna really step up and be the league? There needs to be something that makes you go, the Titans. That's where we're at, you know?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like this is going to be the catalyst to get us to that point. I feel like that's what we're building up to because he is doing a great job of making you know where this fits in and what it does.
Yeah.
What you missed today was we got the origin of insomnia, and I've come to the realization the mainline Night Terrors book is just a backdoor Deadman comic.
Yes.
He's fully just taken Batman's body and he's gone.
Yeah, no, which is great because it's also good exposure for Deadman. It's a great reintroduction of the character into the culture of DC. It lets new readers know who that character is, maybe hopefully endear him to them. But also you still get the Batman action. You can read the Batman Night Terrors book, but you also can watch Batman kick ass, but it's not Batman piloting the body.
So you get Batman on the covers, but we're getting a pilot Deadman comic going on. Deadman can take over any superhero. What does that mean? You know what I mean? Like
that's a good point. That's a pitch. It's just Deadman is the DC universe. Like
Deadman could be any hero. His book could be today he's in Batman's body, tomorrow it's Superman, and like they've established that Batman can't kick him out of the body in his Night Terrors book, which made it feel interconnected, which is what I loved because you go to Batman's book and he's like, screw that. I'm just going to take over my body. I'm Batman. What, Boston? What are you doing?
Exactly. No, well, and it doesn't hurt that First Blood is also written by Joshua Williamson. Like both books were written by Josh. So they're both very intimately connected. You can tell like he wrote them both in the same breath. But yeah, and it's funny because I feel like there's also because there's no true leader at DC. There's no one at the helm in charge
I
who's
thought it was
saying
Jim
out.
Leno, but
Yeah,
like
but he's not
only as of May.
right. But I'm not seeing Jim Lee like doing interviews, getting in front of the camera, doing a little cup
It
of
might be
Joe
San
type of
Diego.
editorial. Like maybe it's San
Oh no,
Diego.
they're
I
not
hope
there.
so.
They're
But I
not
need
there.
to.
That's right.
No, DC Comics will be there. I think.
Oh, you're right. Right. It was
It was DC Studios.
James Gunn said not this year. Expect me next year. That was
exactly, which is fine. Better arguably, but since I don't think there's any like true leadership over DC. There's a lot of like stuff that just drops where you're just like, yeah, I know. Like apparently, I know how that works. Like Mark Waid was doing interviews talking about Lazarus Planet, and he's like, oh, editorial told me to write an event. Like I was doing Batman versus Robin, and they told me, can you make that into an event? And I said sure, and then I did. And it's like, yeah, that shows, that tracks. I feel that.
I know we've harped on Lazarus. I do think the core Lazarus Planet concept still worked.
I think it's a great idea.
I felt the spin-offs were just a little like, what were you?
My issue is I didn't know what to read.
Yeah.
I wanted to read Lazarus Planet 1 through 4, but it turns out that was not the way to do it. And it was not the way they did it, and it's not the way I could do it. And I couldn't, I literally just fell off. I was like, I read the first issue. I'm like, this is really good, and it's really well drawn. And then that's it. But with this, you could tell like Night Terrors kind of came out of nowhere because there is no build up, there's no setup, there's no plan for Night Terror. Like Night Terrors just appears, and it is not part of DC. Like it is part of Dawn of DC, but it wasn't. I think no, there was a logo in the graphic, or maybe
there was a logo and we didn't know what it was.
But did they add that? Because if you remember, like the graphic, they it was shadowed, and then like every so often they'd unshadow it. I feel like maybe they were like, they put a Night Terrors logo in there before that new graphic comes out, because this does not feel like this feels like it's connected to Dawn of DC. It doesn't feel like Dawn of DC teed this up at all. But
I think is my biggest complaint right now, because certain storylines are on hold. Like all of them went on hold, and most of them went on hold in a good spot.
Yes.
Batman went on hold in a spot where it felt like it was intended. Chip Zdarsky got 2 months off while he writes this other storyline. Like the main core, he's left with what's going on with Failsafe, what's going on with Batman, what's going on with Zero-Dar. Superman is, I think, concluded a storyline where Jimmy's dating Banshee.
They finished the Silver Banshee story, which like was honestly like I think a 2 or 3 issue.
It was 2 issues, yeah.
There you go.
But like that's done.
Yep.
Green Lantern though is right in the middle of what it was doing.
Yeah.
Flash finished. Flash is waiting for the new #1, so this fits fine.
Yeah, no, you could tell like they like weighed the pros and cons and went like, this is the only best time we can do this, and they dropped it now. But like you said,
Titans is solving their own murder right now.
Titans they had to sideline, but like, doesn't matter.
Nightwing I think is in a perfect spot.
Nightwing's in a good spot too.
Yeah, but a lot of them ended the stories before Joker got sidelined. That one's a little upsetting. But I will say the current cliffhanger isn't terrible. Joker's finally getting back to Gotham to figure out what's going on with the other Joker. So,
okay.
Like the last 2 issues was him just trying to get out of LA because he started up a bunch of riots, and then he realized I have to get across LA.
No, that's funny. Yeah,
it played out a lot better than you like. I say that you're like, that's funny but dumb. It played out a lot better because even his goons are like, boss, we got to get to LAX.
Yeah, and have you ever been there? You're like, how am I going to make this? How am I going to make this flight? But like you said, it's a great chance now for this to get people excited for Dawn of DC because it is intimately connected. Like, and because every tie-in is only 2 issues. So,
which I also think is great because they're setting up great, like, so we'll go with the tie-ins in a minute. I want to go into that, but they're all setting up great cliffhangers, which I do love. And I want to say what they've explained better in the second issue, but sorry, go ahead. I love this so much.
We're getting these 2, we can, every story that you're invested in is going to wrap up literally in the next issue. And then you get 2 more issues of Night Terrors proper where they're going to deal with Insomnia, and then it's over. And then we're just going back to where we were. And when did that happen in the, for the most part, between story events, like before stories?
All the core books, the ones they want you to read for Dawn of DC, other than I'd say Green Lantern, are all in a good spot to go and hold.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because Green Lantern is just in an awkward spot. I think what they did is they resolved the first plot, but it was one of the giant plots. So it's kind of like, it resolved. He fought the Manhunter thing.
Yeah.
But we found out there's more to it, and then it's like, all right, and we'll see you in 2 months.
Yeah.
Like
Green Lantern's a little bit of an awkward book anyway, so
it is of all the Dawn of DC books, I love it and I hate it at the same time because I'm kind of like, it's a weird way you brought him back, Hal, and you're just kind of setting up a weird situation. And I'm down with it. I like this. I like Jeremy Adams' writing. I like Green Lantern, Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
but I don't see how this fits so far. Like
No.
that's just kind of where I'm at. Because even in this Night Terror second book, they showed John Stewart again.
I got the impression that, like, not that Jeremy Adams didn't have, like, a Green Lantern idea, because I think he did. I just feel like I don't know if he let go of the Flash book. Like, I think it's more like they were like, "All right, well, you're off Flash, and do you have anything else?"
Yeah,
And he's like,
well,
"I could whip up a Green Lantern story, I guess." Like,
the
great.
way he was on Twitter about it, he definitely was removed for the sake of Dawn of DC because they wanted
Yeah.
all the writers changed up.
Yeah.
And
Which
he's not a big enough name like Chip Zdarsky, where it's like, oh, we're gonna bring you in early, and then you just stay. You just stay on the book. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, it's unfortunate, because he's a good writer. It's just that,
Yeah.
like, that was the nature of the business. But
So the second one, what they do, because everyone is theorizing Insomnia was going to be related to Dream and Sandman and all that stuff. No.
no.
What it turns out is Insomnia was a patient of Arkham Tower, and the Lazarus Rain gave him these abilities.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Lazarus,
yeah.
that's how they tie in Lazarus Planet. So he got the
Smart.
Lazarus Rain gave him the abilities, and he's
Mhm.
been at Arkham Tower since Lazarus Planet because
Mhm.
he's learning to control his powers. And when he finally got to the level where he could get out into the open, that's when he broke out.
Cool.
Yeah,
That justifies Lazarus Planet a little bit. I mean, like, listen, did Lazarus Planet show up out of nowhere and nobody asked for it? Absolutely. Was it bad? I couldn't say. I only read 1 or 2 issues of the damn thing. But it is connected, and
right.
this new thing that clearly the team did not agree on, like, this is also, it feels editorially driven. It's connected to the last thing that was editorially driven, and yet also doesn't hurt any of the mainline books. Good. Okay.
Right.
Still creates this feeling of cohesion and world building.
That's been my argument with the MCU, the DCEU, and Marvel Comics right now. Look,
Yeah.
I'm all for going out and getting a generic Wolverine comic and reading it, or watching the Flash movie and having it being connected to nothing. But your general audience for this type of content wants a sprawling multiverse of everything interconnected, because we want to have that superior moment where we go, actually, which you don't realize. I've come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Based on even my interactions with my audience in my Dungeons and Dragons project, which, by the way, you should check out Dungeons and Ale on YouTube if you like Dungeons and Dragons improv by me, Dan, Andy, and Huey. Anyway, slight plug. The audience over there is constantly hitting me up asking how I'm interconnecting all the different campaigns to make a multiverse.
Right.
And it's like, we're not. Like, we're just doing D&D, but the fact that they want that,
yes.
the fact that they want that, and the fact that movies like Flash come out and everyone doesn't want to give it a shot because why bother? It's not interconnected. That people skip over certain MCU shows because we've gotten to the point where we're like, half of Phase 4 didn't matter, so none of it matters. Like, I feel like that's what we needed. It's what we need in Marvel Comics right now, leading up to Venom. King of Black felt cohesive.
Yeah.
But now it's just feels like Marvel Comics is all over the place. But DC is like, hey, you guys liked DC Rebirth. You guys liked New 52 for its cohesion. Give or take the stories, the overall, you can have your overall opinion on it being done. But I will say, one of the things that got me hardcore back into comics, because I was in the 90s, 2000s, I was in my 14 to 20 range. I had other interests. Okay, I wasn't too interested. I was just getting Batman. Yeah. But what got me to buy every comic again was the New 52, because it felt connected. It felt like, oh, if I read Superman and Batman, I'll get more context to what's going on in Batman's world.
Yeah.
And I have said over and over and over, we've done this show way too long, Sal, that we want to have a world that feels connected, and this feels connected.
Yeah,
because you know what? Now you can say, what was the point of Lazarus Planet? Well, John can go Super Saiyan, Power Girl can read minds, and we got a whole event out of one of the villains.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the best thing, I think, is that, like, what's indicative of it is that people are buying it. Like, people seem to be enjoying it. I haven't seen the sales numbers, but, like, word of mouth is good.
Yeah. There's some people that are angry. One of the people that's dating one of the people on our team isn't a fan of it. We were having fun back and forth on Twitter.
Fair.
But it's overall, the main story I think is good. It's not like one of my top tier favorite storylines, but
Yeah.
I really appreciate Joshua Williamson taking that extra mile to interconnect things. And one thing I do want to state is they're also doing it in the tie-ins. We're going to go deeper into the tie-ins in 1 second. But I want to bring up one thing because one of our audience members did. There is a shot Dream is still involved in this because Dr. Destiny and the Nightmare Stone.
Yeah, they want the Nightmare Stone, which is like, I don't think Dream's going to show up, but I do think that, I mean, I think that in another world, this would have been just a Dr. Destiny story, but it also allows us to create a new character and directly connect it to Lazarus Planet. So it's like, yeah, no, I get it. And they use they use Destiny in a fun way. So it's like, all right, yeah, like they address it, they deal with it, and then they move on.
So, all right, to keep us moving at a good pace here, do you have anything more you want to say about the 2 mainline books, which is just a backdoor Dead Man story?
Basically, yes.
Dead Man revived. The big cliffhanger is the Dead Man decides he needs help from somebody else, grabs the Lazarus resin, which was related to Lazarus Planet and was a side plot that was Task Force Z. Remember, I told you all Task Force Z was coming back.
You did say it was going to matter one day, and it does.
He gets that, and he revives from the dead. Sandman, I think, is the hero, the gas mask and gas gun guy.
Sandman. That's kind of cool. All right,
I was like, are you seriously bringing in Lazarus resin? I was right. Task Force Z matters.
I love it. That's great.
They did specify. Batman has the last of the resin. So they went and got that, and that's it. Like, in theory, we're done with Lazarus resin.
Thank God. It's cool.
But it did come back. I was right. So anyway. Nice. Yeah, Sal's got to read Task Force Z now. That's what Lego Monster says in our chat.
Oh my God. My wife read all of Task Force Z.
So did I. Did she like it? Did Tiffany like it? Or?
She did not like it.
Oh, okay. I liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah. I will say the first 8 issues just felt way all over the place. Like there was no rhyme or reason to half the crap that was going on. But I did like the reveals. But that only works when the reveals really work for you and that kind of a story. If the reveals don't work for you, it's like, oh, okay, that was dumb. So, all right, let's go down the line here. I got them all pulled up. If neither of us read it, I've read most of these at this point.
Nice.
Except Black Adam. We're going to say right now, no one read Black Adam.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman. What is your thoughts on the Batman issue? Because that was
it was good. I dug it. I mean, like, I know that a lot of people in my audience particularly thought that the Batman, the original design of like the bat with the gun in the face thought it was really dumb. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's a neat concept. I really liked the design. But overall, I like the interaction that Insomnia had with Batman. The premise of the final page reveal, I was like, I would like to see the rest of this. I dug it. I was like, this is cool. I didn't like, it wasn't like my favorite Batman book of all time, but I did appreciate like that it was, it was consistent and made sense. And I was like, I enjoyed the interaction. I also appreciated like the attention to continuity and detail, like the Selena references and stuff. Yeah. I was like, this is really cool. This is smart.
I like the fact that Batman spent the time to go over all of his nightmares. First, they were already referenced like everyone tries to scare me with my parents.
Yeah.
I liked that. They acknowledged that this is the thing that everyone tries to go for. And that was the thing he was trying to get out of, only to have Boston be in his body. So he couldn't.
Yep.
I actually liked the Bat Gun Devil thing. I liked that. And I liked that it turned Bruce into like the ultimate Batman.
Yeah, that was neat.
It would have been interesting if the reveal had been that was Zuradar, but
I agree. If it was connected in that way, I'd be like, this is really smart.
Yeah. But I don't know. Is he writing that? I don't think he's no, it is Joshua Williamson writing it.
Yeah, Williamson's writing this. Zdarsky's doing the Zuradar stuff.
Okay. So I liked that. I did like them doing callbacks. Once again, it makes it feel interconnected because they did a callback to the wedding that regardless of love or hate, it made headlines. People know the wedding happened. So
yeah.
I thought that one was a lot of fun. Batman is also probably so far the only book that is important to the main plot.
It directly connects to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all about why Batman can't get out of his body and what Batman's doing while Deadman's doing his thing. So
yeah,
totally. I feel like Superman's probably also going to be the most directly connected, but
that makes sense to me. I loved the cover for that.
The Superman one? Yeah, it's not out yet, so I can't see what's going on in it. Ravager is interesting. I love the art. It's done by Dexter Soy. He did my favorite one for Red Hood.
Yeah.
The Ravager story is interesting because it basically boils down to she thinks Deathstroke's trying to come back through the nightmares.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, unless they were there, they don't know what's going on. So
Yeah.
you'll see that reflected in a lot of the books that came out this week.
Totally.
Because like Flash and Green Lantern don't know what's going on. They're just suddenly stuck here.
Okay.
So Ravager reflects that as well. She thinks it's related to Deathstroke. Can you confirm or deny? Is he dead again after Dark Crisis?
Oh my God.
I don't know what happened after
I don't
that.
think he is. I think I think Waller has him.
Okay. Because she thinks he's dead. She brings that up.
Yeah, I'll have to confirm that for you. But
I was like, I don't think he is dead anymore. I think he stayed alive after Dark Crisis. He died in Shadow War, but
yes, I think they think he's dead, but that Waller has him. But
okay.
Yep, Waller's got him.
Okay. Joker was a lot of fun. What was your thoughts? I told you were gonna like this one.
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, yeah, it was very absurdist. You know, it was a lot of like, it was really, you know, it was that kind of like macabre humor of like, you know, just the inciting incident of Batman dying and it being a joke and silly and stupid, and then Joker's being like, I don't know what to do with myself. I guess I'll do this. You know,
I love that he goes to work at Wayne Enterprises.
I think that was really clever. I really like that too.
I don't know if you caught this though, but the artwork was crazy and batty at the beginning, and then once he had to go mundane, it all toned
really
down.
Grounded. Yeah, I agree.
I liked it a lot the way they did that.
Yep.
So far, my favorite two are Batman and Joker. I highly recommend them. Poison Ivy came out. I've started this one. From what I started, it's good, but I can't vouch because I haven't finished the issue yet.
Cool.
I just
Fair
haven't got
enough.
to it.
I'm
Black Adam, we both agreed we're not going to read, period. So that's the end of that.
Don't care.
Night Terrors 1 came out this week, and I told you what happened in that one. Links the whole thing to Lazarus Planet, Lazarus Resin, the whole 9 yards.
Great.
It's going to be fun. And the big point is he goes to get help because he realizes this isn't contained to Gotham. He thought it was only in Gotham.
Right. Right.
So
yeah. I think we also got the Flash, Shazam, Robin, and Green Lantern today.
And Zatanna.
And Zatanna.
Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
I've read Flash and the Robins this morning.
Okay, how are they? I haven't read any of these.
Robins feels like it's the most disconnected at this point.
Oh, okay.
So because it opens before the event happens. It sucks in Tim and Jason because they're the only two that don't have a book related to this.
Right. Fair enough.
And basically they have the same idea as Batman. They know right away they're in a nightmare. But it oddly makes it feel disconnected. Tim has to deal with his father's death multiple times, and it's interesting how he goes about that. Jason's my favorite in this though, because they try to stick Jason with like a Red Hood monster, so he shoots it like Jason would, which makes it multiply. So he shoots it again, and it multiplies. And then they leave Jason behind to go deal with the Tim stuff. Which, if you like classic Tim, this does line up to the classic origins, his relationship with Stephanie, stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then they cut back, like Tim's like, I think we're in trouble. I don't think we can get out of whatever this is. Cuts back to Jason. Jason has about 100 Red Hood monsters. Tim, I think I screwed up. I'm just like, that is such a Jason thing.
Yep. I think I screwed up.
It does feel like it's going to be the most disconnected. Read it if you like Tim and Jason and you want to see more about them.
I will now.
Yeah, don't read it if you're not a fan of them or the Bat family and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I've got to read Shazam. Wade wrote it, and so I need to check that out.
I got to get caught up in Shazam in general because I do like the idea of Billy Batson being angry and trying to deal with this stuff. So I kind of got to see what's going on.
It's a fun book.
The Flash is funny, not because but I don't think it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So the Flash, its own continuity is weird, but basically it boils down to the Flash's big fear is the Flash.
Okay.
So it's a Barry story. And Barry, like right off the bat, nothing is lining up properly. Like Kid Flash is in the old outfit. Linda doesn't exist. Things like that. And Barry basically determines somebody messed up the timeline. So his big fear is that he's going to go back in time and mess up the timeline.
All right, that's cool. That's a good fear for him to have. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to the treadmill and uses it to go back in time. And like, it's weird that this is what Barry's afraid of. Makes sense that it's what Barry's afraid of since he literally created a whole nother universe. Right? I know in the end it turned out to be Dr. Manhattan, but he did it. He did it originally. Like, we all know that. So that's his. If you like Flash and you like Speedster, as Andy puts it, Speedster bullshit, then you'll like this one. If you don't like that whole concept, you're not going to like this one.
Awesome. Okay.
And then I haven't read Zatanna, Shazam, or Green Lantern yet. I started Green Lantern. It looks like Sinestro's in it, but I don't know where it's going. So
yeah, Sinestro's in like a backup or something like that for
yeah.
Green
Oh,
Lantern.
he's in the backup. Okay, because I opened it and someone had already read it, so it was like at the ending, and I'm like, oh, Sinestro, and then I skipped to the beginning.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, well.
next week, that's when we get Wonder Woman, Superman, Nightwing, Catwoman in that infamous cover that I was showing yesterday.
Yes.
And this is the first one. The second one that I can almost preemptively tell you is not going to be important. Punchline.
Right. No.
I thought we were done with Punchline, Sal.
Well, I don't know why you thought that. Why they didn't invent her to forget about her.
Like they keep
her.
trying to make Punchline a thing.
I know. I just think it's weird that James Tynion IV isn't writing it. It's apparently written by Danny Lore, but like, I don't know.
I don't think James Tynion's on anything. I don't think he's come back yet. I think he's still doing.
He's still doing. He's. I don't know if they canceled or ended the Sandman stuff, but he was writing the Sandman book. And
oh, was he?
Yeah,
and Nice House in the Lake was a DC thing too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know where they. I read it up to 12. I don't know what's going on with that now.
Neither. No.
But that's where we are right now, and I'm assuming we're probably going to talk about this for the next upcoming weeks as things continue to come out and talk about if it stayed on track. Did we stay excited, or did they drop the ball and it got dumb?
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. We need. I appreciate that. Like there are all these tie-ins, but like we need like another issue to come out that's part of the Night Terrors story. Like we need a tent pole that connects everything.
Well, I mean, we got that. Issue 1 dropped today.
Well, I know, but when does issue
2 drops? The 25th. So we got 2 weeks.
That's okay.
That's not bad though. Every 2 weeks we're gonna get one.
Yeah, that's true. That's not bad.
But the best part about the tie-ins is so far they're really. If you like Zatanna, here's a Zatanna story.
You get a Zatanna book,
right? But they're not important. The only one so far that feels like it might pertain to the main plot is Batman.
Right.
So the only one at this point.
Looking at Superman, we'll see if that also connects as well.
And even looking at Batman from that point of view, that really just answers why is Deadman in Batman's body.
Yeah.
You don't need it if you really don't care.
No, completely. I agree.
So I'm not against this tie-in series because they're not important. They're important if you like the hero to find out what's going on.
Yeah, I like that.
So
that's cool.
Okay, all right. You linked it too, Sal. So let's talk about the Superman Legacy additional casting that just came up. All right,
yes,
everyone.
It just dropped.
But the end our thoughts. Night Terrors right now. I'm super excited for. I hope it stays this good.
Agreed. Yeah, it's their game to lose at this point.
Yeah, because if they can land this, go all the way to the finish line with this being this strong, I will be excited for more Dawn of DC. Like
totally.
I felt like it's been going on a little slow, but if you show me this is how it's going to be handled, like little intersparsing stories.
Well, and if they do this again, like in let's say December, here's
I'm assuming we're going to get Brainiac story at the end of the year.
Yeah,
like that's the one they were teasing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, all right. What about this casting that just happened, Sal? What do you got?
Superman Legacy has added 3 new actors playing characters in the to the movie roster. This includes Isabella Merced, who was Dora the Explorer in the Dora the Explorer live action movie as Hawkgirl.
Dude, Hawkgirl is getting in live action?
Hawkgirl is going to be in Superman Legacy.
Okay, go ahead. I got thoughts on the adding.
I know. I'm like, okay.
Who's next?
We got Edie Gavagy. I apologize. But Mr. Terrific.
Okay.
We're getting Mr. Terrific in the Superman Legacy movie. He was in Justified, and I'm trying to think of
I've seen him in something. I just don't
know. I know. He's been in something that I know, but I couldn't tell you what it was. But he's been in a bunch of stuff.
I recognize his face. I just don't know what he's in.
Yeah, he's in the Blacklist.
Okay.
And Justified, like I said. Really older fans might remember he played Darwin in X-Men First Class.
That's it. I know him from.
There you go. And finally, we're getting the Green Lantern. We're getting Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
He's gonna do so good in that
He's
role.
gonna nail it. He's gonna crush that. They,
So
apparently James Gunn also says he's gonna have the Guy Gardner haircut.
so the bull?
The bull.
So my first thought would be that James Gunn is gonna bloat this movie and it's gonna be terrible.
Naturally, that's the concern.
Right. But I'm not that concerned about it because he's managed to give us like 20 different superheroes every Guardians of the Galaxy and they just exist on the sideline.
Uh-huh.
Which has been great. So what if these guys all exist on the sideline for Superman to talk to, and it's setting them up to be another thing since
Exactly.
he controls the whole DCEU.
Exactly. Like we're just establishing these are characters who will appear in other projects or are part of this larger universe, and they may appear in another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fillion. So the Green Lantern or a Green Lantern of this universe is Guy Gardner, and it will be played by Nathan Fillion. We're getting Hawkgirl, and we're getting Mr. Terrific as well. Again, yeah, I could see. You know, it's funny. Like, obviously, we're getting a Batman movie in Brave and the Bold, but wouldn't it be interesting if like Superman didn't go to Batman in his Superman Legacy movie for like information? He goes to Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I like the idea that we're going to build out the universe and we're still not casting Batman. Like, we're just like, Batman's still going to happen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But we all know you want Batman. So we're not worried about that because we have Batman Part 2 coming out. So you're just going to watch that. Like,
yeah, you got the Batman Part 2. You got his own in-universe movie that will come out someday. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know.
I thought that was next year. I thought the Batman Part 2 was next year.
Oh, yeah, no, the Batman. Yeah, but I'm saying there's also going to be the DC in-universe movie with Damian and
oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is that. Oh, no, it's 2025. Oh.
Oof.
That's way out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
2024 is going to be a dry year if you're a DC fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you got Creature Commandos to look forward to.
And Joker 2.
Joker 2. Can't wait. Oh, wait. What's the opposite of that? But, yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm just like, okay, all right, well, that's fun. As long as we don't like, you know, next week James Gunn's like, and here's Wonder Woman, and here's like, you know, Martian Manhunter.
I wouldn't even be against that though, because what if these guys are all taking the roles and they're just in the league,
right?
Like the equivalent of what the league is at the time. You know what I mean? Like that's
okay.
I mean, remember when he cast the Ravagers and we were like, "Are you doing a whole nother team in there?" Yeah, the Ravagers showed up for a cameo at the end.
That's true. Yeah,
that's all it was.
Like, that was basically just like you could make this movie if you want to, and Marvel Cinema and you know, Feige's like, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he set that up, just like he set up the Guardians of the Galaxy 4, and we'll never get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hyped. I'm not no. All right, I don't know if I want to say hyped, but I'm looking forward to it. This sounds cool. Like so far, Superman casting, Lois Lane casting, great. I obviously like the director and the writer. I'm down for this movie. And
I also love the fact that one, he's not hiding this information. He's letting the fans know his direction so that there's no speculation, no nothing. Yeah. And two, he's doing this all in enough time that we can actually expect it to be a solid movie. This Superman Legacy comes out in July 11th of 2025 right now. Yeah. It's going to be the first movie in all of them, which means the Batman 2 is actually coming out after that. But
yeah. It's interesting. We're also getting, you know, there was a tease where DC released like a thing where they were like, if you want to get ready for Superman Legacy, here's some things you might want to read. Here's some inspirations for this movie that James Gunn handpicked, and one of them was Superman Brainiac from Jeff Johns. And I'm like,
right.
So Brainiac's the villain of this movie. Like that's my thinking, right? If it is, you could be like, okay, so Superman's going to fight Brainiac. We're going to introduce Kandor. But what if like one of the Thanagarian cities is in there and Superman liberates it? What if a city from Earth 2 is in there and that's where Mr. Terrific comes from?
Yeah.
You know, what if they're in space
yeah.
and Green Lantern shows up to help them? You know, like, so it's not so much that they're like characters on Earth that are hanging out, but rather that like Superman's literally introducing them to his universe. These are all just conjecture and theory, but like I'm down for all of it. I don't care what it is.
I'm excited, and it's because James Gunn is at the helm. And you know what? You can call me whatever you want. I loved James Gunn's movies. I've yet to see a James Gunn movie that I disliked.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's obviously better ones and worse ones, but I've yet to get one that I'm like, that was terrible. I have lost faith in James Gunn.
Yeah, so far that has not happened. I've not had a Taika Waititi moment.
Where Thor: Love and Thunder. You did great with Jojo Rabbit and Thor 3. Let's see what else you can do, buddy.
Did love those, but oh man, oops.
This is why we have writers. All right, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Absolute Comics. Sal and I will be at San Diego Comic-Con next week, which means I don't know if we're going to film this ahead of time. In theory, we should be okay. Because in theory, I don't know about you, but I'm flying out Wednesday, and we film this Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So it should work.
Yeah, we should be able to do that.
But we'll see. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know your thoughts about all the castings, everything going on. What about that Wolverine suit? And what do you think about Night Terrors? And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us a big rating. I don't actually know how Spotify works.
I have no idea.
We've been on there for like 10 years, and I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.